All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, September 18th, 2019. Got a lot of baseball games to go over today. The earliest starts in about an hour and 15 minutes. Before we get to that, let's review yesterday. Pull up yesterday's notes here. Looks like I went too far. 1 second. Okay, so the first game was the Angels at the Yankees. It was hard to make any determinations from the pitchers, but it looked like the Yankees had a good chance to sweep the series or lose just one. And as we pointed out yesterday, if the Yankees won, they'd be 4-1 versus the Angels. LA equals 41-14. Numbers that show up a lot around LA, so Yankees did improve to 4-1. Severino made his debut 156 days from his upcoming birthday. And his name equals 156. The Mariners looked good to beat the Pirates yesterday. The riddle was through Marco Gonzalez. He was going for his 34th career win. Perfect team, perfect location. Pirates and PNC Park, both 34. The Blue Jays and Orioles game, the Blue Jays had the date numerology on their side. They got their 29th away win on the 29 date numerology. And let's see. The pitchers, there was nothing that was super clear. The date numerology was there. So Blue Jays did win. You get a score of 8-5. Toronto Blue Jays equals 85. Or 5-8. Baltimore's 58. Tigers and Indians. The Indians did go past the 14-game winning streak, and they won 8 straight at home. So Indians looked good. They had the date numerology overwhelmingly on their side. Another streak of 8. Streaks often do end at 14 as well, but like we pointed out, could make sense if the Indians win 15 total games straight and 8 at home. Indians equals 47, the 15th prime. So there was a chance Plutko would lose to go into Philadelphia 6-5. Tigers would have been a nice parlay multiplier, but things looked pretty good for the Indians there yesterday. The Giants and the Red Sox, we saw that the Giants pitcher had a chance to become 2-2 for the season. Boston's 22, a number that hits a lot in Boston. He didn't get credit for the win, but his team did win. And I had a feeling when this game went into the bottom of the ninth, 5-6, the score would end up being 7-6, because 5-6 doesn't connect to either team. I was glad that the Red Sox didn't come back and win the game. I had a little bit of a concern. I hate baseball so much. I cannot watch sports, you guys. It's just sports just get stupider and stupider every year. I mean, I just can't watch baseball anymore. How many walks were in the bottom of the ninth? You mean to tell me Major League Baseball players can't throw a strike? 4-0 count? It goes on every single game. I hardly watch any games, but when I turn them on, I'm just like, seriously, you're going to walk 2 batters, huh? Can't close out the game, huh? 2 walks. Okay. Base hit. Okay, here we go. It's just the same thing every night now. It's like nobody has a closer. No one can throw strikes. Balls that even go over the plate, the umpires call strikes. Anyway, I just had a feeling the score was going to end up being 7-6 because San Francisco 76, number that shows up with them a lot. Thank God they won the game. So, anyway, Giants hung on there. Phillies did beat the Braves. Like I said, Phillies, man, they've given them all these narratives this year. It seems like they should end up making the playoffs. They are on life support right now. Things did not look good for them yesterday through Keuchel's riddle, but like we said, if the Phillies are going to be there, these are games they're going to have to win. So they did win. They're still alive. I'll foreshadow today. Today's the same scenario. It does not look good for the Phillies today, but if they're going to be there, they're going to have to win these games. Padres and Brewers. This one looked good for the Brew Crew. Paddock falling to 9-8 made sense. Milwaukee Brewers 98. Woodruff picking up his 12th win of the season made sense in Milwaukee. Milwaukee 37, the 12th prime. So that was there. White Sox had a 2-run lead that they squandered at the end of the game. No one can close out a game anymore in Major League Baseball. So this was disappointing. I wanted to see the White Sox prevail here. It wasn't a one-way street, but the White Sox were the better payout. So Minnesota improved to 6-2 at home. Minneapolis is 62. Martin Perez equals 62, the starting pitcher. You had an argument for it to become 5-3, or from Chicago's perspective, 3-5. but wasn't so. The Nationals and Cardinals, I thought this game was too close to call yesterday. Tight game. The Reds at the Cubs. I liked the Cubs yesterday. Cubs let me down. I thought they were going to get to 9-9 versus the Reds. Instead, they stayed on 8 wins. Reds 19, the 8th prime. Today's going to be the 19th game of the year. Could the Cubs stay on those 8? That's something that would help out the Phillies. Caller?
Hey, how about that 4-1 final score on the Astros?
I'm about to get to that one next. Of course, George H.W. Bush, number 41. That's exactly what I thought. I said, "Oh my God, another Bush 41 tribute from the Rangers."
Well, plus Skull and Bones equals 41.
Yep, that's right.
And Rigged equals 41. Home equals 41. And this is like the numbers that I was highlighting on Twitter on my Sports Decode account like a couple weeks ago. And
good. Yeah.
It's just like incredible how it always works out this way.
It's ultimate mockery, man. It's ultimate mockery.
But hey, the Japan baseball games were kind of interesting last night too. If you look into how those games were, there was actually like 2 underdogs last night that ended up hitting for me. One of them was the Chinichi Dragons, and then the other ones were the Rakuten, whatever it is, Hawks or something like that, or Eagles rather, I believe. And so, like with the Eagles, they went to 66 and 66 on 66 date numerology, and 66 is just another 33 when you reduce it.
Right.
And tonight, if people are interested, they probably have the Dragons lose tonight because I think they can pick up the 31st home loss on the 31 date numerology for them. It's like easy pickings with that.
It's just following the date numerology real clear.
Yeah, and then if you look at that Red Sox game last night, notice how the Red Sox finished with prime numbers in their record. And now today, if the Giants lose, they'll also have prime numbers, and they'll be the 21st and 22nd prime.
79, 22nd prime, Boston, 22.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that tonight, or well, I guess the Boston game's a little bit earlier, but the Red Sox should definitely win. And Chashin, or whatever his last name pronounces, he's been pitching really well, but he's only been pitching like 1 or 2 innings.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just wanted to add that bit. That stupid 41 thing.
Yeah, we knew it was all about Bush and the Skull and Bones, so of course you get the 4-1, yeah?
I had so much on that game, but it was just like never in doubt.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to add that. Thanks a lot.
All right, yeah. Good work, man. See you. Well, if this Japanese baseball is just following the date numerology, that's how it used to be when I started this. I mean, date numerology used to just be so consistent in all sports. It seems like it's become a lot less consistent, and I don't think that's an accident. But sounds like in Japan, they're still going by the date numerology. I bet if we start exposing that, that'll probably change too. But anyway, yeah, Astros, we had them pegged. That riddle got us one really big payout the last game because we saw that Verlander wouldn't be winning, and it would be for this number 41 ritual. You get a score of 4-1. All right, Mets at Rockies. I was thinking the Mets were going to hold off on that win until today, so wrong about that one too. Yeah, that game disappointed me. The Marlins at the Diamondbacks. This game yesterday, we saw that if the Diamondbacks won, if the Marlins won, they would become 4-2 versus the Diamondbacks, and Arizona and Diamondbacks 42 shows up a lot. So you got your 42s. And Young, you could make an argument either way. So wasn't a one-way street, but that 42 shows up all the time with Arizona and Diamondbacks. Athletics, they looked good to go yesterday. Caller? Hello?
Hello. Hey, Zach. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
So I'm reading this article here, and it says the Giants manager, Boshi, whatever his name is.
Uh-huh.
He's going for his 2000th win. As the Giants face the Red Sox, and they said it's going to be a bullpen game for Chacin. So I just wanted to let you know, just to be aware of that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
All right, take care. Yeah, what's 2,000 equal in Gematria? Let's see. See if we can figure out who's the most appropriate team to get number 2,000 against. 2,000. All right, we're going to think about that one. Bruce Bochy. What's his record now? 1999 and 2022. If he was 2,000 and 2022, that'd be a lot of twos in Boston 22 land. So I did see some things that lined up nicely for the Giants today. Last caller made the point about the record, so we'll look at that game. But anyway, the A's looked good yesterday through the pitchers. Lopez becoming 6-7, Kansas City 67. Anderson's record made sense with the W, getting that 59th win against the Royals, numbers that show up a lot. And then the Rays, I thought the Rays had a good shot to beat the Dodgers yesterday. Caller?
So I was saying 2,000 equals 160, and the line is negative 160 for Boston.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. So
good eyes.
All
right, thanks, man. All right, so I thought the Rays threw the head-to-head record. Again, head-to-head records are always better when teams are in the same division. In this case, they're not even in the same league. But it still was there. Remember, the Dodgers and the Yankees are teams that have beat Riddles against them all year. That's why they have the league's two best records. So when you bet against them, there's always some concern there. But, man, the Rays had a lot going last night. So did Snell get a no decision? Snell got a no decision. I bet you Snell wins his next game. Snell will probably beat Boston in his next game, so pencil that in. Snell should become 7-7 against Boston. Boston 77, Red Sox 77. And Stripling didn't get the decision either. So anyway, we hit on more games than we lost on yesterday, and we got some nice upsets, so still an okay day, but there was a couple games that had they come through, it could have been a really good day. For today, let's get to today's games. We're about an hour from the first game start time. The date numerology, 66, 39, 30. None of those are prime. The lesser date numerology, 46. The day plus the month, 27. It's the 261st day of the year, leaving 104 days remaining. Let me just make sure 261's not prime. I don't think it is. Yeah, it's not. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So we got our date numerology list. Let's just work our way through the games here. Oops. Here, I'll zoom this in a little bit more, hopefully, so you can see it clearly. That's probably better. All right, Nationals at Cardinals. So, the Cardinals are 4-2 versus the Nationals this year, and this is tricky because St. Louis equals 25 and 43. So you can make sense of this head-to-head record either way. However, the Cardinals do have the date numerology going against them. They lost yesterday with the date numerology. Could they lose again with the date numerology today? If it followed the pattern from yesterday, you would assume they would. Scherzer, there's nothing in his stats that scream out to me about today's game. All right, going to take one last call here, and then I'm going to close off the calls until we're done with the decode. Caller?
Hey, Zach, are you doing any football at all today?
Are there any football games today?
No, I was just seeing if you were maybe going to do any future games for like tomorrow or the weekend. Just a question. But before you jumped into those baseball games, I just noticed Tom Brady is 239 and 62. Then I noticed New England Patriots is 269 and 82 and 2 in the ciphers. So maybe that's like a riddle we can look at to see how many games Tom Brady might have left. if he can maybe get to those two numbers for his total wins and losses. It's just a decode I'm doing right now, but I'll let you get back to those baseball games.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem.
Take care. So we did our first football live stream last night. If you missed that video, you might want to check that out. First discussion about the Week 3 games. And we'll do another one of those discussions Thursday, prior to Thursday Night Football. And then plan on another one for at least Saturday, possibly Friday as well. And, yeah, we'll look at college football games here and there. But honestly, I don't want to keep taking a million requests and looking at a bunch of different stuff. I want to excel in what we're already looking at. You know, if you guys haven't noticed, when people call in and say, hey, can you do this game on the fly? We don't always have our best results there. And to me, it's about quality and not quantity. So you guys have the tools. I've told you what to do for college football. Look for games where the coach can pick up the win or loss that syncs with the full team name. You're going to win a whole lot more than you lose. And you guys have all the tools to do that. Plus, you can look at the information that I decode. But I just realized, I'm just making myself mad, taking all these requests. It's frustrating. Sorry, I'm not picking up your call right now. Like I said, no more calls until the end of the show. But, yeah, it's just, let's focus on what we're focusing on and, use the knowledge to look at the additional stuff that you want to look at. Okay. Nationals and Cardinals. So, I don't see anything that screams out about the stats for the pitchers in this game. If Scherzer did lose, he would get his 39th loss with Washington on the 39-date numerology. That is possible. He could get his 46th away loss as well. You got the 46-date numerology again. Scherzer's 2-1 at St. Louis in 4 starts with a 1.44 ERA, so he's pitched pretty well there. Wainwright, his numbers don't sync up with the Nationals. So there is some date numerology going against Scherzer, but the date numerology also goes against the Cardinals as a team. And yesterday they lost with that pattern. So anyway, I just think the way this series, the numbers break down, the games are just too close to call. But this has all the playoff implications in the world. So at the end, if somebody has a thought on that, we can come back to that game. Or actually, you know what? I will open up the calls for people who might have an observation about the Nationals at Cardinals game. Don't call in about anything else right now, but if somebody has a thought they want to share on this Nationals and Cardinals game, you can call in for that. That said, I'm going to move ahead to the other games, keep moving through. We're going to try to find our best group of games today. The Mets at the Rockies can stay on 66 wins on the 66-date numerology. It's possible. The Mets' next away loss, however, is 43, and Colorado's 43. The Rockies are 61-39 at home versus the Mets. They could they could stay on those 39 losses on the 39-date numerology versus New York. New York's 39. The Rockies are 2-3 versus the Mets this year. This is tricky because Mets is 24, but New York is 33. Caller?
Morning, Zach.
Good morning.
Just one thing I noticed, the 151st game for the Nationals, and they can stay on 36 away losses.
151. Yeah, you're right about that. It is 151. Yep, that's a good point.
And actually, it's getting me a little upset because I want to bet the Cardinals because of the whole the playoff races that are going on. We kind of need Washington to lose. So it's kind of got me in the middle.
Well, and it seems like the Cardinals are going to be there. They got the 115 connection, so.
Yeah, no, I feel like they're going to be there, but I need Washington to lose. Washington and the Phillies have a 5-game series before the season ends. I think it's like next week. They start a 5-game series against each other.
Right, and so things could turn there, yeah.
Yeah, so, and like I said, the Cubs still got that series against Cardinals. I think they play them 6 or 7 times before the season ends.
Right.
So that's going to be another beat-up series. Yeah, so I don't know. I need Washington to lose, but I'll see if you pull anything else from the game. I just wanted to tell you that 151 real quick.
Yeah, that's a great observation. Appreciate it. All right, thanks, man. Scherzer was drafted by St. Louis. Scherzer, and he's 2-5 versus St. Louis, which is interesting because St. Louis is 25 in the most pure cipher. If the Cardinals won today, the Nationals would become 2-5 in St. Louis. But man, St. Louis is 43 too. That number plays there as well, so it's tough. Oh, let's see. But yeah, Cardinals win would help the Phillies' cause. Okay, so coming back to this Mets-Rockies game. The Mets picking up their 43rd loss in Colorado would make sense. The Rockies staying on 39 losses versus the Mets on the 39-date numerology would make sense. I'm really wishing the Mets had lost yesterday because this would have been an easy call. The head-to-head record, you can make an argument either way that at 3-3 or 2-4 because Mets is 24, New York's 33. Syndergaard is 2-0 versus the Rockies to date. We do have 30-date numerology. Could improve to 3-0. But if he lost, he'd be 2-1. Colorado Rockies is 73, the 21st prime. I know I said I wasn't going to take any more calls, but... all right, break the rule one more time. What's up, caller?
What's going on, Zach?
Hey, man.
For that game, Washington plays Miami next. So they can stay on that, and they play them in Miami. So that 36, they can keep that 36. And Miami Marlins equals 85. So if they win today, that'll be 84. Then they can pick up. They win in Miami, it'll be 85 Miami Marlins, and they'll keep that 36.
Yeah, that makes sense. Very possible. Very possible.
Yep.
All right, appreciate that.
Yep,
Thank you.
that's all.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Here, you know what? I needed... All right, one thing. First of all, I have to take off my sweatshirt. It was cold here this morning, but it's heated up. Ugh. Okay. Let's see. Second thing, I need to look ahead at who these pitchers face. Hold on. Nationals face Miami next. Miami's 36. All right, let's see who the pitchers face. All right. Max Scherzer. No. Nationals schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's going to play the Phillies next. Could he stay on this 10-6 to face Philadelphia, the land of 106? Philadelphia Phillies is 106. So maybe Scherzer gets a no decision today. That would make some sense. And you know what I'm not even thinking about that's right in front of my face? What have pitchers been doing with the Nationals? All right, I need to make sure I'm awake here. Washington Nationals is 107. Well, can't type. Washington Nationals 107. Scherzer plays Phillies next. Philadelphia Phillies 106. Caller.
Phillies equals 116.
Phillies is 116 as well.
Yeah, and then yesterday that 105 hit too.
Where's Phillies 116 at?
Francis Bacon.
Oh, if you had plus 26, okay. Yeah.
And here's the kicker. Phillies on 11-game road trip. If they go 10-1, Philadelphia equals 101.
10-game road trip?
11-game road trip.
Okay. And if they went 10-1 on it, that would be pretty crazy.
Well, 115th World Series.
Right. Yeah. All right, man. Good observation.
All right, thanks.
Francis Bacon's where you use the capital letters. So you add plus 26 for each capital letter, so 90 plus 26 is 116. I don't normally use that cipher in decodes, but It is a relevant cipher. So Philadelphia Phillies 106 though. We see that a lot more than 116 with the Phillies. And let's see here. So Scherzer will face the Phillies next. What about Wainwright? One, two, three, four, five. Cardinals at the Diamondbacks. Cardinals at the Diamondbacks. Well, if Wainwright lost his next 2 games, he'd get to 96 losses. Diamondbacks is 96. His next home loss is 47. St. Louis is 47. EC is 47. Yeah, I still find this game to be tight here, but date numerology goes against the Cardinals. Prime number relationship is supportive of the Nationals. Nationals do play Miami next. So, if they did stay on those 36 away losses, that would make some sense. Can make an argument either way with the head-to-head record. So it's still tight. Does seem like maybe a couple more things do stack for the Nationals today. But Scherzer, remember, he was drafted by St. Louis. He has a losing record against them, 2-5, and it seems like a lot of these pitchers, when they face the teams they're drafted by, they struggle. So I saw that Scherzer was drafted in the 43rd round by St. Louis as well. St. Louis 43. All right, let's just keep shopping though. So we were talking about the Mets and Rockies game. This Hoffman for the Rockies, he's 4-7 at home. If he won, he'd be 5-7. Mets 57, New York Mets 57, a number that plays a lot with the Mets. Hoffman is 1-2 versus the Mets today. Mets is 12-21. So let's double check something. Rockies schedule. Rockies got the Dodgers tomorrow in Los Angeles. What about the Mets? Who do they play next? Mets are at the Reds tomorrow. Cincinnati Reds is 79. Could pick that up though against them. Who's Syndergaard face next? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll face the Marlins next. Syndergaard. Well, his next start is versus Marlins. Marlins equals 49. If Syndergaard won today, he would have a chance at 49 versus the Marlins. So that's worth considering. And let's see about this Hoffman guy. One, two, three, four, five. We'll face the Giants next. Hard to say with that. But one thing that really does stand out for Hoffman in a big way is if he won, he would be 5-7 at home. See those numbers show up all the time with the Mets. So we'll save the rest of the calls for the end of the Decode, move through these games, and then take your calls on the game. So I'd say more looks like it's going for the Rockies here than the Mets, but the fact that Syndergaard, if he won today, would have a chance at 49 versus the Marlins is worth considering. Syndergaard could also become 3-0 versus the Rockies on the 30-day or fall to 2-1. Colorado Rockies 73, the 21st prime, and again, Mets is 12-21. All right, Royals at Athletics. The A's are 4-2 versus the Royals this year. if they did lose, they would be 4-3. The Royals would be 3-4. Athletics does equal 34 and 43. 43 is the 14th prime. KC's 14. So looking at the head-to-head record, there is something there for the Royals today. However, we've been talking about Homer Bailey getting to 14-8 against his old team for a minute. That was why we had Homer Bailey upsetting the Astros last week, which was a great payout. If Duffy lost today, he'd be 6-7. Kansas City 67. He'd stay on 59 career wins. Oakland Athletics 277, the 59th prime. Duffy's 4-0 versus Oakland. If he lost, he'd be 4-1. Oakland's 41. So Duffy's got some incriminating things going against him. And then Bailey can become 14-8 by beating his old team, Kansas City 148. The scare in Bailey's record is his next career loss is 86, and Kansas City Royals does equal 86. This number does play a lot with Kansas City. I better put the devil's advocate narrative here too. If he lost, he'd be 13-9, like 139, the 34th prime. Athletics is 34. Bailey's next home loss is 41 as well. Doesn't have to come today, but again, Oakland is 41. Bailey's 1-0 versus the Royals. So I really liked the Athletics to win their last game with Bailey on the mound to set up this 14-8 riddle versus old team Kansas City. Things do not look good for Duffy today. The head-to-head does give the Royals a shot, and Bailey himself does have the fact that he could get his 86th career loss. That number plays a lot with the Royals too. But it seems like the most symbolic thing is for him to become 14-8 versus old team. The Royals trading him to Oakland has been part of the spark for Oakland that's helped them surge in this second half. So it's Oakland's not a great payout today. I would play the Royals in my dollar parlay and my multiplier bet. Anyhow, a few things to consider there. The Marlins at the D-backs. The D-backs can pick up the 39th home win today on the 39 date numerology. Arizona equals 39 date. The Diamondbacks are on 68 losses now versus the Marlins because they lost yesterday. Miami Marlins 68, so they might stay there. Diamondbacks have 27 home losses for the Marlins, so they can stay there to conclude the series. A lot of times the series will end on a symbolic number. Let's see. Alcantara with a loss today would be 7-17 for his career. 17, the 7th prime, which prime number of relationships. Leak today, he could improve to 3-3 with Arizona, pitching down on the 33rd parallel. He's on 104 career wins. Today does leave 104 days left in the year. His next career loss is 99. Miami does have that 99 connection. So does Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks 99. And let's see. Yeah. So anyway, there's nothing that's great about Leak's stats. There's a little concern there, but I'm thinking just looking at it from the team perspective, because the team's going to pick up the win or loss. The pitchers, a lot of times they get no decisions. I like that 39th home win on the 39 date numerology in Arizona. That seems right to me. And they would stay on 36 losses as well. Miami's 36. So that makes some sense. And the Marlins can pick up the 99th loss. Arizona Diamondbacks 99. D-backs can stay on 36 home losses. Miami 36. Marlins can pick up 99th loss. Arizona Diamondbacks 99. All right. So there's that game. Well, one other thing I should mention about Alcantara is if he did win, he'd be 6-13. 13 is the 6th prime. So he could have a prime number relationship either with a win or a loss. Don't forget Miami Marlins equals 59, the 17th prime. So Anyway, I like the team records here in this scenario. Arizona's a 39 state, perfect date for the 39th home win. All right, Angels at Yankees. Again, worst case scenario, I think the Yankees lose one in this series. And the reason it could be today, Dylan Peters is 6-7 for his career. If he won today, he would be 7-7 in Yankee Stadium, 77. If he did win today, he'd also be 4-3 for the year. New York Yankees 191, the 43rd prime, so he could improve to 4-3 like 43. Peters is 1-5 away. It's his first game versus the Yankees. Sabathia is 5-8 for the season. If he lost today, he would be 5-9. Los Angeles Angels is 59. And another thing to consider is Sabathia is on 77 losses at home, so he could stay on it. Yankee Stadium 77, but New York also 78. He's on 111 wins in the second half. New York's 111. His next loss is 71. LA Angels equals 71. And Sabathia is 10-9 versus the Angels to date. It's going to be his 24th start. But Yankees, they're a team that bust up a lot of riddles going against them. It's just that Sabathia against the Angels, it would be the perfect team to become 5-9 against. So something to think about there. The Mariners at the Pirates. Mariners looked good yesterday. Today's a little different. Today the Mariners could stay on 30 away wins on the 30 date. The Pirates could pick up the 66th win on the 66th date. Mariners could also stay on 46 away losses on the lesser date numerology of 46. Keep in mind, Pirates is 47. I believe these teams play one more tomorrow. So tomorrow's the 47 date. Tomorrow, the Pirates or the Mariners could potentially get the 47th loss. But here's a big one right here. The Pirates are 6-9 versus the Mariners all time. If they won today, they'd be 7-9 at PNC Park. PNC Park is 79. And on the flip side, Mariners is 97. So the Mariners could fall to 9-7 versus the Pirates as well. Pirates are 2-6 at home versus Mariners all time. They're 0-1 this season. If the Pirates won today, they'd have a prime number relationship thing going. They'd be 13-6 versus the AL. The two pitchers have very little experience, so it's hard to this Dunn, in his limited experience, he hasn't pitched well, so he's not encouraging for the Mariners. I think it's interesting that Pittsburgh has less of a line today than they did yesterday, because yesterday the Mariners had a better pitcher on the mound. But just looking at that head-to-head record, I think that's the biggest clue in this game. So the 7-9-9-7 thing. So I'll let you think about that one. The Blue Jays and the Orioles. The Blue Jays can pick up the 30th away win. Yesterday they got the 29th away win on the 29 date. Toronto could also stay on 39 losses versus the AL East. Again, we got 30 and 39 date numerology. If the Orioles lost today, they would be 3-6 at home versus the Blue Jays. Toronto's 36 in both reduction ciphers. So 36 opportunity. Buchholz could get his 39th win in the second half. Orioles 39, again 39 date numerology as well. Nothing else really jumping out about his stats. I guess he could get his 34th away loss. Maryland is 34 where Baltimore is. And Dylan Bundy on the mound today. He could get his 46th career loss on the 46th date. Didn't really see anything else screaming out with him. So, date numerology says Blue Jays. Head-to-head record makes more sense with the Blue Jays win. Pitchers, there's not a lot to dig into, but does look a little bit more favorable for the Blue Jays even there. So that's my thoughts on that game. The Tigers and the Indians. The Tigers today got a chance at an upset. They could get the 46th win. At the same time, the Indians have a chance at their 46th home win. Keep in mind, Michigan equals 46, where the Tigers are from. Cleveland could also pick up its 46th win versus the AL Central. So the Indians have 2 riddles compared to the Tigers with 1. Turnbull is 3-6 away for his career. Detroit's 37 if he lost, but you have the 46 date numerology as well. Turnbull's 0-9 in the second half. If he won, he'd be 1-9, like 19. Cleveland Indians 67 the 19th prime. Turnbull's 0-5 versus the Indians. If he won, he'd be 1-5, kind of like 15. Indians 47 the 15th prime. He's 0-2 at Cleveland. If he won, he'd be 1-2. Detroit 37 the 12th prime. So Turnbull has some interesting things going on. Savell, you can make sense of him with a win or a loss. He could be 3-4 or 4-3. And for the caller out there in Boston, I will take your call. Just let me get through the decode, and then we'll open it back up for the phone lines. But Savell, he could be 3-4 or 4-3. Indians 34-43. If he did win, he'd be 3-3 in the second half. Tigers 33, Cleveland 33. So the date numerology is a little bit more supportive of the Indians. Turnbull definitely has an upset narrative in his numbers. But at the same time, when you look at his numbers, just outside of the numbers perspective, you look at it, you're like, man, he is really horrible against the Indians. He's really horrible in the second half. But there's still a prayer in those numbers. So Tigers, you could use them as a parlay multiplier. The Giants and the Red Sox. So the caller did make a good point earlier. If the Giants lost, they'd pick up their 79th loss, which is the 22nd prime, in Boston's 22. Let's see if these guys play. Is today the last game of this series? Oops. No, they got one more tomorrow. One more tomorrow. Okay. So Boston's 11-6 versus the Giants all time. They'd have to win 2 in a row to make a prime number thing happen. 13, the 6th prime. Boston's 5-1 at home versus the Giants. And what stands out to me there is Giants 25, SF 25. Number that shows up all the time. That means the Giants could become 2-5 at Boston. So looking at Samardzia's numbers, he's on 55 career away losses. Could stay on it. Boston, Massachusetts, 55. He's 1-2 versus the Red Sox. He has a chance to become 2-2. Boston, 22. And Chacin, he's 77-85 for his career, which is perfect because Boston's 77-85. Red Sox is 77-85. He's 9-7 versus the Giants, like 97, the 25th prime. So hard to say where Chacin's numbers would go today. They don't connect to the Giants. There's nothing with the date numerology. But it's just looking at that head-to-head record for today's game. Chance at a 25 riddle. It just happens so often. So 2 other things to consider. Boston Red Sox equals 53. The Giants won today and tomorrow. But Boston Red Sox, if you use the rule for S, is also 71, another number that plays with them. So if it was going to be that Boston was going to win the next 2, they could get to 7-1. But I don't know. 25 in the Giants shows up all the time. Just like even right here with Chacin. 97, 25th prime. So to me, it looks like the Giants got a shot today. And yeah, but still, let's keep shopping. Phillies at Braves. So the Phillies had the riddle stacked against them yesterday, but they won, which is a good sign for the Phillies. They are in that do or die mode. Today, the Braves could pick up the 30th home win. Oh shit. No, 30th home loss. Excuse me. Got dyslexic for a moment. They could pick up the 30th home loss, so actually the date numerology goes against them there. Atlanta could pick up the 46th win versus the NL East is the other narrative. That's the lesser date numerology. This is the more pure numerology, so perhaps the Braves do pick up that 30th home loss. And like dyslexic for a week. The Braves are 8-9 versus the Phillies in 2019. We talked about yesterday how if Philadelphia won 3 in a row in Atlanta and make a big statement, they'd improve to 11-8. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's 118. Philadelphia, PA's also 118. We also talked about how if the Phillies won all 3, the Braves would become 4-5 versus the Phillies. Phillies is 45 in both reduction ciphers. So there is a riddle for the Phillies to win 3 straight. Eflin, he's 8-12 for the season. Braves is 41 the 13th prime if he got his 13th loss. Let's see. He's 2-3 versus the Braves. The game's on the 33rd parallel. He's 1-1 at Atlanta. Remember, Atlanta Braves is 37 the 12th prime. I guess it's another thought that he could stay on 12 losses. And then Teheran, what worries me about him is Philadelphia Phillies equals 119. He could improve to 11-9. Plus we have this 66 date numerology, 11th triangular number. And the other thought is if Teheran lost, he'd be 10-10. Revelation equals 10-10. In Jewish Gematria, where Philadelphia gets its name from, the 66th book of the Bible. If the Phillies do win 2 more games, they are going to get to 79 wins, the 22nd prime. Braves is 22, and they will stay on 37 away losses. Atlanta Braves 37. The Braves would also pick up 2 more losses and get to 61. Philadelphia is 61. So I'll make that note here. If Braves lose next 2, they will get to 61 losses. Philadelphia, 61. Phillies would get to 79 wins. 22nd prime. Braves equals 22. Phillies would stay on 37 away losses. Atlanta Braves equals 37. So that narrative for them to win 3 games in a row is there. Be a big statement. But Teheran, the 119 riddles didn't come through for the Phillies recently, so perhaps they don't come through for Teheran either. You know, Phillies couldn't even win on September 11th. So, and I believe it was Eflin who had a chance to become 9-11 on September 11th, and he didn't. So it doesn't mean that Teheran will. All right, the Padres at the Brewers. The Brewers could get their 46th home win today, and I believe they're playing tomorrow as well. That means they could also get the 47th win tomorrow on the 47 date, and San Diego equals 47. So yeah, they got 1 more tomorrow. So if the Brewers won today and tomorrow, they'd pick up some numbers that made sense. Okay. The Brewers are 72-78 versus the Padres all time. San Diego Padres is 79. San Diego is also 74. So ending on either one could be symbolic. See something else that needs to be written down here. If the Brewers won today, they'd be 3-3 versus the Padres in 2019. San Diego Padres equals 137, the 33rd prime. Let's see. Through the pitchers, I don't see anything screaming out. If Lamet won, he'd be 7-9 in the second half. San Diego Padres 79. Hauser's numbers don't really stand out to me. I guess he could become 5-3 in the second half. Milwaukee's 53. But looking at the date numerology, it looks like the Brewers very well could pick up a win today and tomorrow. Again, Brewers' losses would help out the Phillies. But there's nothing real encouraging there for the Padres. Let me see who Hauser will face next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hauser's going to face the Reds next. Well, that's interesting. If he lost, he'd be 6-7. 67, 19th prime. Hauser faces Reds next. Reds equals 19. So there's a chance, I suppose, through that. I guess the other thing is if the Brewers won 2 in a row, they'd be 4-3 versus the Padres. San Diego's also 43, but if they split today and tomorrow, Padres could also be 4-3 versus the Brewers. So, anyway, date numerology is supportive of the Brewers today. Pitchers is a coin toss. Let's just keep on looking here. The White Sox at the Twins. So White Sox, they couldn't close out the game yesterday with a 2-run lead late. They can either stay on 30 away wins on the 30 date or pick up the 66th win on the 66th date. I would imagine the Twins would win at least one more game. Chicago has that 44 connection. So Minnesota is 13-5 versus the White Sox this year. 13 is the 6th prime. Doesn't necessarily have to go that way. Minnesota is 6-2 at home. Got to get the pitcher stats in here. I didn't quite finish getting all those pitcher stats plugged in. So Nova is 10-12 for the season. We know TC is 13. Nova is 88-76 for his career. And let's see his splits. He's 42-44 away. And Nova is 39-38 in second half. That's interesting because today has 39 date numerology and White Sox equals 39 if he became 39-39. And Twins, ooh, he's 4-2 versus the Twins. Now, that's the number we see come through a lot. Minnesota in 52. So check out Odorizzi. Odorizzi is 14-6 for season. Odorizzi is 61-54 for career. And he's 21-16 with Minnesota. Let's see. He's 33-27 at home. He's 29-22 in the second half. We have the 30 date numerology today. Could get that 30th win. And versus the White Sox, he's 3-3. So White Sox have a little date numerology that could go in their favor. Head-to-head record could end up a prime relationship, which would go in their favor. See something real quick. If Nova became 5-2 versus the Twins, man, that number just shows up so often with Minnesota, 52. But there's still some things that could go against them as well. So yeah, I think that one's a little bit tight. But White Sox do have a slight upset narrative. They did yesterday as well. Couldn't quite pull it out. Yeah, Minnesota 52. That number comes through so much. Okay, Reds and Cubs. So, Cubs disappointed me yesterday. Again, this is going to be the 19th game between these teams this year. That's the 8th prime number. The Cubs are on 8 wins. Could they stay there? Reds equals 19, the 8th prime. The Cubs are 4-4 versus the Reds. Somebody's going to be 4-5. Cubs is 45. Wrigley's 45. Illinois is 45. 45 is the 9th triangular number. So, Cubs are the team with the shot at the 9th win today. The Cubs could stay on 30 losses in the NL Central. Cincinnati can stay on 30 wins versus the NL Central. So reading that favors a Cubs win. The Reds can stay on 46 away losses as well. Reds equals 46. Plus you got the 46 date numerology, of course. All right, let's look at the pitchers a little bit more. This Tyler Mahle, not very impressive. Tyler Mahle, let's see. Mahle is 2-11 for season. See if he pitches against New York next. New York's the 212 area code. Mahle is 10-22 for career. Remember, 23, the 9th prime. Cubs equals 9, so a good team to get the 23rd loss against. We'll see who he faces. We'll look at his next pitching opponent here in a moment. Let's see. Mahle away is 6-14. And 1-6 in the second half. He has a winning record against the Cubs, though. 2-1 versus Cubs, 4 starts, 4.18 ERA. What's he done at Wrigley? He's 1-0 at Wrigley with a 5.4 ERA. 2 starts. Okay. And Lester. Lester, 190 wins. Lester is 13-10 for season. So Cincinnati equals 66, which is the 11th triangular number. Plus you have the 66 date numerology. So Lester could get his 11th loss of the season. Lester is 190 and 108 for his career. Lester is 74 and 41 in the NL. Took the Cubs. All right, let's see. Lester is 93 and 54 at home. And Lester is 90 and 47 in second half. Check the Reds real quick. We have a 91 connection. 92. Okay. Leicester is 7-2 versus the Reds. And Chicago, Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, is 82. Just like Soldiers 82, Soldier Field in Chicago. So it could become 8-2. And Reds is 28 as well, the reflection. Cubs are on 82 wins right now. Reds' next loss is 82. Lester, what's his record at Wrigley? He's 40-22 at Wrigley. All right, let's see who these guys face next. One, two, three, four, five. The Reds pitcher will face the Brewers next. Well, he'd have to win this game and next game to get the symbolic number against Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 37, the 12th prime. Leicester, let's see. All right. Reds are off to play the Mets next at home. Yeah, that's tough because the Reds could stop on 46 away losses. Chicago is 46. Reds is 46. You got the 46 date numerology, but Chicago, Illinois is 82. It's tricky. You know what? Cincinnati Reds, if I'm not mistaken, is 70. And the most pure cipher, the Cubs' next loss is 70. All right. So that would help out the Phillies as well if the Reds beat the Cubs. They'd stay on 8 wins in the 19th game, the Cubs. They could fall to 4-5 versus the Reds. Either team could. The Cubs would stay on 51 home wins as well, wouldn't they? Cubs would stay on 51 home wins. Cincinnati equals 51. That Molly guy is hard to have any confidence in. Reds definitely have an upset narrative, though. No doubt about it. The other thing to consider is Chicago's 37, the reflection. Okay, next game. Rays at the Dodgers. Let me double check something here about Dodgers. Okay. All right. So the Rays could stay on 46 away wins on the 46th day. Dodgers are 10-6 versus the Rays all time, 5-1 at home. Tampa Bay Rays is 43-52. The Dodgers are 2-1 versus the Rays this year. We know about LA in 13. That means the Rays could become 1-3 versus LA. And let's see. Let's get the pitchers up here. All right, McKay is 2-4 for season and career. And what stands out about that is he lost. He'd be 2-5. Tampa Bay is 25. So that'd be a fitting record for a Tampa Bay pitcher. He's 1-1 away. He could fall to 1-2 in Los Angeles. McKay is 1-1 away. Los Angeles equals 37, the 12th prime. At the same time, though, Los Angeles Dodgers equals 73, the 21st prime. Still, that 2-5 for a Tampa Bay pitcher makes a bunch of sense. He's 1-4 in the second half. Yeah, you can make an argument either way for 2-4 or 1-5. Probably hasn't faced the Dodgers before. He's never faced the Dodgers. All right, and then he's going up against Gonsolin. First game versus Dodgers. Gonsolin is 3-2 for season. Remember, Los Angeles Dodgers equals 181, the 42nd prime. Let's see. I got to go back to the Giants game and think about Bruce Bochy, how many days it is from his birthday. I just realized I didn't do that, but we will do that here in a moment. Gonsolin is 2-1 at home. Again, LA's 13, the reflection's 3-1. Tampa Bay is 79, the 22nd prime. Something else to consider. And probably hasn't faced Tampa Bay. He has not. So the head-to-head record does give Tampa Bay a shot because Tampa Bay could become 2-5 at the Dodgers. And I guess I should consider this as well. It's just that this McKay, he can also fall to 2-5. So, Let's see who they face next. All right, so last game of the series, and then they go on to face the Red Sox. If they lost, they'd go into Boston. No, never mind. That game's back at home. Who did the Dodgers play next? Rays pitcher's going to face the Yankees next. If McKay lost this game, he'd have a chance to become 2-6 versus the Yankees. Yankees 26. So McKay faces Yankees next. If he lost today, he would be 2-5. could become 2-6 versus Yankees. Yankees equals 26. Okay. And then Gonsolin, let's see. One, two, three, 4, 5. So he'll face the Padres next. You can make an argument either way on that one because San Diego's 43. So win or lose, he could end up being 4-3 versus the Padres. San Diego Padres 137, the 33rd prime. Let's see. All right, for the person calling in, I will take your call as soon as we're done with the games here. We're almost there. Rangers at Astros. Wow, negative 500. Have we seen a negative 500 yet? That line is ridiculous. Rangers can pick up the 46th away loss today. Houston, Texas is 46. They'd stay on 32 away wins as well. Houston 32. So that's pretty likely there. Their away record would be a perfect tribute to Houston. Astros can get the 46th home win on the 46th date numerology against the Rangers all time. And the Astros could improve to 13-6 versus the Rangers, 13 the 6th prime. The Astros are 7-0 versus the Rangers at home this year. Wait a minute, did I remember to update that? Hold on. That could actually be a mistake. I think I forgot to update that. Because I think they are already now 8-0 versus them. Let me double check this real quick. Houston Astros, Texas Rangers. At home, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're already 8-0, so somehow I forgot to update that. All right, so they're 8-0 at home. And I suppose today they can get to 9-0. Make sure neither team has a connection to those numbers. Rangers. Astros. Huh. I find that line really interesting. But yeah, the numbers all line up for the Rangers through the head-to-head record. Let's look at the pitchers a little bit more. All right, let's see. Allard is 4-0 for season. Houston equals 40 and 41. Allard is 5-1 for career. Texas Rangers equals 52. So that would be perfect. And home, away. Allard is 3-1 away. Houston equals 32 and 41. That could go either way. And let's see. He's never faced the Astros. First game versus Astros. And then Cole is 17-5 for season. Let's see. Cole can stay on 90 or 52 career losses. Cole is 91-52 for career. I believe Astros has that 92 connection, doesn't it? Astros is 92. All right. Stay on 52 career losses. Texas Rangers 52. And let's see. 44-23 at home. He was 36-24 in the second half. Rangers equals 37. Let's see. He's 4-2 versus the Rangers, so he can become 5-2. Texas Rangers 52. So it's interesting how many 52s came up. The Devil's Advocate narrative is Astros is 43, but 5-2 versus the opponent, making more sense. So 52, number that shows up a lot with the Rangers, shows up in 3 ways this game in favor of the Astros. Fortunately, the Astros don't pay much, but they look good to go. So, want to go back and look at Bruce Bochy since he's going for his 2000th win. Bruce Bochy birthday. Let's see how this lines up. He's born on the 106th day of the year, just like Bill Belichick, April 16th. Bill Belichick was born in 52. Let's see. It's 155 days, or his 156th day of his age. Now, we saw 2000 did equal 160. The date numerology. Man. Who did the Giants play next? They play at the Braves. Austin. Okay, so what could be the relationship with Boston? 137 is the 33rd prime number. Massachusetts is 33. His next game's in Atlanta down on the 33rd parallel. Who all is Bruce? What teams has this guy managed besides the Giants? Houston, the Mets. No. This is his. These are his player stats. Well, that's still interesting. Who did he play for? Houston, Mets, San Diego. Played until 87. I need Bochy, the manager, though. Let's see. All right, Bochy, the manager. Again, if he won, he'd be 2000 and 2022. Boston's 22. That'd be a lot of 2s. So he managed the Padres and the Giants. Just those 2 teams. The most games he ever won in a season was 98. Alright, let's make this note about Bochy. Where's it at? Bruce Bochy is 1999 and 2022 as a manager. Boston equals 22. 2000 and 2022. All right, let's review all the games again one more time. Make sure we didn't miss anything pertinent. Nationals and Cardinals is underway. Again, this game looks very tight this morning. The date numerology does favor the Nationals. Cardinals could pick up the 30th home loss. If the Nationals won, they'd stay on 36 away losses in their 151st game, 151 the 36th prime. And if the Nationals didn't lose, they'd go into Miami on those 36 away losses. Miami is 36. The head-to-head record, you can make an argument either way. Scherzer, he's going to play the Phillies next. If he got a no decision, he'd stay 10-6. Philadelphia Phillies is 106. If he lost in his next decision, he'd be 107. Washington Nationals 107. We've seen a whole lot of that in pitching riddles with the Nationals. And Scherzer could get his 39th loss today with Washington. Also possible 39 date numerology. Could get his 46th away loss, 46 date numerology. He's 2-5 versus St. Louis. St. Louis 25. He was drafted by St. Louis. We saw if Wainwright lost today and his next decision, he would get to 96 losses against a 96 team in his next start. So, anyway. Things look a little better for the Nationals, but still, there's some things there that are concerning. The Mets and the Rockies game. If the Rockies won today, they'd stay on 39 losses versus the Mets at home on a 39-date numerology. New York's 39. You can make an argument either way for the head-to-head record. Syndergaard would have to win today and his next start to get to 49 wins against his next opponent. The Marlins 49 possibility doesn't have to be that way. You can make an argument either way for his record versus the Rockies. Hoffman, who's on the mound, who's not having a very impressive season, 2-6 with a 7.03 ERA. What's interesting about him is he's 4-7 at home. If he won, he'd be 5-7. Mets 57, New York Mets 57. Keep in mind, New York's also 48. So those 57 Met riddles come through a lot more often than not. One other thing I could say here is Mets' next loss is 74. Denver, Colorado is 74. They could pick up their 74th loss in Denver, Colorado. And they'd also get their 43rd loss. I guess I should put it right here next to that. If the Mets lost today, they'd get the 43rd away loss, Colorado's 43, and they'd get the 74th loss in Denver, Colorado. So those are two things that stand out. Mets are the favorite on the road. Rockies definitely have a narrative. So Syndergaard did get the win today. I suspect he'd get his next win over the Marlins as well. So that's a note you could make. Always good to look to the future. The Royals and Athletics game. Again, we talked about Duffy upsetting the Astros, or not Duffy, Homer Bailey upsetting the Astros in the last game, which he did, which was a great payout, so that it would set up the possibility of him becoming 14-8 versus old team Kansas City. Kansas City's 148. He'd also get his 14th win of the season versus KC, and KC dishes out 14. So I am thinking that's where this goes. The head-to-head record gives the Royals a shot because the A's could fall to 4-3 versus the Royals. Athletics is 34-43. 43 is the 14th prime. KC's 14. It's possible. But Duffy with a loss would be 6-7. Kansas City 67. He'd fall to 4-1 versus Oakland. Oakland 41. Bailey would improve to 14-8. Kansas City 148. He'd get his 14th win versus KC 14. And the biggest scare for him is this right here, that he could get his 86th career loss because Kansas City Royals is 86. We know that number plays with Kansas City. I'd like to call a Royals upset here because it would be a great payout, but again, our initial thought was Bailey beating Verlander and the Astros, which he did, to set up this narrative. So can't go back against that, but I would advise people, if you are mixing up some parlays, you know, in one of your riskier bets, your dollar parlay where you're trying to multiply the dollar into several more dollars, I might throw the Royals in there as a multiplier just because they got a little narrative. All right, the phone line is back open. You can call in while we're reviewing. Caller?
Hey, sorry about trying to call a little bit too early. I didn't mean to.
That's okay.
I just wanted to bring up about this Cardinals game. I actually do think that the Cardinals have a shot here. So if you look at their schedule, they have tomorrow off. So if they are on 68 losses, they wouldn't have the 67-day numerology going against them for today. They next play against the Marlins on the 68-day numerology. That day is 9/20, and it also has 41 day numerology, and they could be on 41 away wins. And then if you also look at the 83 wins that they have now, that
wait, the Cardinals couldn't be. Or excuse me.
Sorry, Nationals, my bad.
Yeah, Nationals. There we go.
Nationals. Yeah, misspeaking. Sorry. So Nationals, yeah, they could go into that on the 41 away wins. They could go into the 68 day numerology on 68 season losses.
Are you saying the Nationals play the Marlins next?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Okay, because you start out with the Cardinals. So
yeah, that's what I was. I'm just thinking about Cardinals in terms of the team, but I'm trying to talk about the Nationals. I was misspeaking.
So did you mean to say at the beginning then that you think the Nationals got a shot, or you think they're going to lose?
No, I think the Nationals are going to lose because I think they're going to go into that 9-20 game on the 68 losses, the 83 wins, because 9-20 has the 23-day numerology, and so 83, 23rd prime fits with it. And then the 41 away wins, like the 41-day numerology.
Right. I see what you're saying. This date has 68 numerology. Miami Marlins is 68. Yeah. Perhaps they go in with the 68. Or they could pick up the 68th loss on that day.
Yeah, that's true. But it seems to be more overlap when they go into that and pick up beyond the 68. Because I think they win that first game. They go against like a really terrible pitcher the first day.
Okay.
And so I think they do drop a game, though, in Miami. But the 83-38 stuff with Florida, it feels like it's all over that. And then just the fact that it's 23-day numerology and they can go into it on the 83 and then have the sync with the day numerology in two other places, like the losses and away wins.
Right.
When I've done this before, the day off doing things like this is usually very important because it's like a perfect alignment now going into that Miami series if they do drop today.
I see their record being 86-68 at the end of the Marlins series.
Yeah.
Marlins 86, Miami Marlins 68.
If they get the sweep.
Yeah.
But that 38th away loss could also factor in. Because I think it's 37 today.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, I just wanted to add that the day numerology thinking up the Nationals record seems to be very peculiar.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right.
I mean, the 10-7 thing is so hard to go against that with Scherzer.
Well, he doesn't have to do it in this game, though. It could happen to him in the next game, because if he stayed on 10-6, then he'd go into the Phillies with a perfect record, and then maybe he loses to them, so...
Yeah, I mean, at best, I think he gets pulled early and gets a no decision. But the way the first inning went, the Nationals had people one guy in scoring position and couldn't bring him home. They got a fly out and then a ground out with their two best hitters. That's usually not a good sign.
Sure, it's early in the game though, so.
Yeah, but anyways, thanks again.
All right, thanks. See you. Okay, so Nationals at Cardinals, it is tight. If the Nationals are 86-68 by the end of the Marlins series, that'd make a ton of sense again because Marlins is 86, Miami Marlins is 68, so look out for that. I get some free picks here in that series. All right, so we were reviewing Mets-Rockies. Again, things look a little bit better for the Rockies to me today. Syndergaard's got a little narrative, though. Royals at Athletics. Seems like the Homer Bailey thing should happen. I'd still have to throw my Royals in the dollar parlay, though. They got a prayer. The Marlins at the Diamondbacks. Again, the Diamondbacks can get the 39th home win on the 39-date numerology in Arizona 39 land. So that makes some sense to me. Marlins would pick up that 99th loss. Arizona Diamondbacks 99. That makes sense as well. Diamondbacks would stay on 36 home losses. Miami 36. So I like the Diamondbacks. The Angels and the Yankees. Could the Angels upset the Yankees? If CC lost, he would be 5-9 for the season. Los Angeles Angels is 59. Caller?
Hey, how you doing, Zach?
What's up, Izzy?
Hey, I was wrong. I should have listened to you. The the tribute for Steve McNair, and you said most likely, most of the chances the team loses.
When they have a ritual for a player retiring a jersey or remembering them, so often that is banned for the home team. So Izzy, you weren't wrong. I mean, you knew that, and you made a great point, and you brought it to our attention because I wasn't even aware of that. But yeah, it seems like almost any time a home team has a ceremony for a former player, they lose. Same thing with the Bears. At the beginning of the year, the Bears honored Walter Payton and one other Chicago Bear, and they lost to the Green Bay at home. So.
Well, I got news for you, though. I'm not going to take a side, but there's another one coming up. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to honor Rondé Barber.
Okay.
Yes, this game, week 3, against the New York Giants. All right? And what a coincidence.
Tiki.
The New York Giants.
Tiki.
Yeah, the New York Giants. And and for some reason, Fox, Rondé Barber is an analyst for Fox Sports.
Right.
And guess what? He's going to be working. He's going to be analyzing that game. It's a bit comical.
Perfect.
So the halftime show, he's going to be in the stadium and take the ceremony, and his brother is going to take over as commentator.
Huh. Perfect.
I mean, what do you think? You can't make this up.
No. Yeah.
I mean, was this a coincidence?
Obviously not.
Hey, so I got that, and I was digging up, and I was doing some research, and I don't know if you saw the connection for Super Bowl 34 on Sunday. The numerology. You had 43, 9 plus 15 plus 18. All right.
Right.
43, right? Reverse is 34. Super Bowl 34. But I got more. Hold on. Just hold on with me for a second. So, all right. So, the year 1999. That was the actual year Steve McNair and Eddie George played together and made that super run for Super Bowl 34. So,
right.
Super Bowl 34, and Eddie George wears number 27, and Steve McNair wears number 9. So, on a game with the Rams, which won the Super Bowl on Super Bowl 34, they won the Rams against the Titans. The Rams won that game, and Titan lost. Last Sunday, the Rams won their game, the Titans lost their game. Stay with me. So it's the Saints. The Saints, they play against the Saints. And Drew Brees, he wears number 9, same as Steve McNair, and he was taken out by number 99, Aaron Donald.
Right.
The year was 1999, which happened. It turned out to Super Bowl 34. 9 taken out by number 99.
Right.
Drew Brees equals 99. Aaron Donald has his own number, 99.
Right.
And so yeah, and there happened to be during the Titan games, there were news reports that there was a cloud with shape of the number 9.
Huh.
So,
really?
And so let me see. And so Steve McNair, he died at the age of 36.
Mm-hmm.
3 plus 6 equals 9. And this is it. This is the top it off. So the Rams ended up winning the game, and the score was 27-9. The same number retired by the Titans.
Huh.
Eddie George, Steve McNair.
Very interesting.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Those are some great observations.
Right.
Don't forget that was Super Bowl 34. Tennessee equals 34. They were the team that lost in that game.
Yes. So Tennessee, they lost, and they lost also on Sunday, and the Rams, which are the LA Rams, but they used to be the St. Louis Rams at the time. So yeah. But that's all I got. That's I just I mean, you can't make this up, right? It's just how these things line up like that.
Right.
And also, I mean, and like for the Titan game, there happened to be a fire in the pyrotechnics. So it is just crazy how things happen. It happened. I don't know what that has to do with that, but that's all I got. I just wanted to put that out there. So I'm doing the research. I'm doing, like you said, you learn how to do this stuff, and you can figure it out. Then the future, you can read the numbers and stuff, like try and do it yourself and get the decodes.
Exactly right, Izzy. You're doing a great job. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, yeah. All right. Take care. See you. Yeah, Steve McNair, he was supposedly killed by his girlfriend, and he died July 4th. His girlfriend's name equals 47. Just want to go back and look at that. That was 2009. All right, so coming back to this game, Angels at Yankees. Again, Yankees and Dodgers are both teams that defeat riddles against them very constantly. That's why they have the league's best record, so you got to keep that in mind. The Yankees' 101st win is upcoming. Let's think about that, because 101's the 26th prime. Yankees is 26. Is there a ritual here that could make sense for the Yankees' 26th win? If they won today and tomorrow, it would happen tomorrow. Tomorrow will leave 103 days left in the year. $102, 101. Be something if the Yankees struggled to get that 101st win and they split their next two. It's possible it could go that way, though. Pick up the 101st win on the day, leaving 101 days left in the year. So it'd be the Blue Jays. I believe that's September 21st. Let me make sure I got that right. September 21st. Yeah, leaves 101 days left in the year. Okay, so anyway, just looking at this game, Peters today on the mound for the Angels. If he won, he'd be 4-3. New York Yankees 191, the 43rd prime. He'd be 7-7 for his career. Yankee Stadium 77. Sabathia, again, if he lost today, he would be 5-9. Los Angeles Angels 59. And Sabathia could either stay at 77 home losses or pick up his 78th. New York is 78. If he did get his loss, he'd get his 71st loss in the second half. LA Angels 71. So quite a few things there that do point to an Angels upset narrative. It's just Yankees are riddle busters. So let me make this other note here. Yankees coming up on 101st win, 101 26th prime. Yankees equals 26. September 21 leaves 101 days left in the year. So, just think about that. If the Angels did win one more, if they won one in this series, they would get to 33 away wins. New York's 33, so that's not out of the question. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
So I was wondering about that caller who called in before and said about the 11-game road trip that Philly's on.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's kind of funny because World Series champion, that equals 101 and 115.
Huh.
And just so happens that this year the wild card's on 10-1, and the 11-game road trip that they have, it stops on the 26th, and that's exactly 5 days before the wild card game, which I thought was interesting. And just the whole 101 connection. If they go 10-1, Zach, that would be ridiculous.
It would.
To have an 11-game road trip at the end of the season?
Right. but they'd be hot. They'd be like, wow, look at the Phillies on fire on the road. So.
Yeah, I mean, so I think whoever wins the World Series definitely has got to come out of that wild card game. You don't think, right? That's what you were saying probably a couple weeks ago.
Especially if it's the Phillies. That. The Phillies right now have a 99.9% chance to not make the playoffs.
Perfect time to bet them.
Yeah. So
I just thought that was so weird. So I'm gonna pay attention to it. I'm gonna look further into it. But that 11-game road trip 5 days before the wild card game on 10-1, another 11 to fifth prime, 5-day difference. I don't know. World Series champion, 101 to N115 in the 115th World Series.
Right.
That just seems crazy.
Right. But, all
right. I'll let you go.
All right. Thanks, man. Yeah, Phillies are going to have to get red hot, and Nationals are going to have to cool off. So Cardinals winning today would help the Phillies out. Something else we talked about. Angels' next away win is 33, New York 33. So Angels definitely got more than a prayer today. They got quite a few things that line up. It's just I don't like going against the Yankees. Well, the money's growing, so more and more money's going on the Yankees. That line just increased. It went from -300 to -310. So I know the Yankees bust up so many riddles, but there's quite a few things there that look decent. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hey, man.
Got a quick comment and a question for you. So, like when you were talking about how these guys, like, they're ritualistically shamed after they set these records and stuff, right?
Right.
Like, I remember the game when Peyton Manning was benched. He, set the all-time passing record or something that game. I can't remember who it was against. And he had, the worst game of his life. And he got benched, at the half, I think. And they brought Brock Osweiler in. But my question to you is, with these games and, you were talking about the Japanese leagues and stuff, how they're pretty consistent still. They're all consistent with the date numerology like you observed. I mean, I know you weren't doing this full time in years past until just recently. Do you think that the ultimate, outcome, it doesn't change? But through the season that they've screwed with that. So whoever's ever supposed to win the pennant this year, that's already set in stone. But they've done something differently with the daily games.
That's what I think's going on. Yeah, I think,
okay.
And it makes sense. I mean, if they realize that people are out here exposing how they rigged their games, they obviously have to go. We're being exposed. Can we continue to do this? Because I mean, imagine if they didn't change it. I mean, we'd be.
Well, you'd probably have 20,000, 30,000 subscribers now.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So I know that things are different. How is it possible that we understand this knowledge better and the patterns better than ever, but we're doing worse than we were doing 3 years ago, which is true. So, I mean, how's that even possible?
Don't you think, though, the ultimate outcome doesn't change, but that they could tweak, especially in a Major League Baseball season, they can tweak with games or get them back in some other series?
Of course. Yeah, baseball's the eastest to do that with.
And some of the riddles they can't get away from, like the Verlander riddle yesterday, that's done. When you see these things, lining up with, the Flyers, and I remember that Philadelphia riddle. I mean, some of these riddles are just too strong. Those are going to stay, but it does seem that the other stuff that they've screwed with it for sure, man. That's what I kind of suspected, but I was wondering what you thought about it.
Yeah, I think it has to be that way. I was just saying to my lady the other day, I was saying, think about it. I said, think about how much better I know this knowledge than 3 years ago, yet now I'm worse at calling games. How is that even possible?
Right. Well, but the futures are still there. You know what I mean? I mean, your futures are still, you consistently get those right.
Right. So.
I mean, things were kind of screwed with the NBA, who won, and the hockey shit, which you never really decoded before. But we see why now. But all right, man. That's all I really had, man.
Yeah. I agree with your points, though. So appreciate it.
All right, Zach. You have a good one, man.
Yeah.
Later.
Take care. And even though that I'm not doing as great as I want to do, we're still winning and staying ahead of the curve. So, I mean, that's the name of the game. But Yeah, something's definitely up. And again, the reality of the situation is it was January of 2016 when the mainstream and media acknowledged my work. So that's coming up on the 4-year anniversary now. That means, and what's that guy, Nick Wright on Fox Sports? For those of you who have been around, that dickhead used to attack my work almost every day on Twitter. And I was like, okay, fine, keep bringing more attention to my work. So, anyway. Let's see here. This Mariners game. If the Pirates won today, they'd be 7-9 versus the Mariners. The Mariners would fall to 9-7 versus the Pirates. PNC Park 79 and Mariners is 97. If the Pirates won, they'd be 13-6 versus the AL. You get a prime number relationship. I don't want to put too much stock in that, but I think the main clue is just right here for this game. So they play tomorrow. The Mariners and Pirates, they got one more game. Tomorrow we'll have 47 date numerology. Pirates is 47. The Mariners' next loss is 47. They could go into tomorrow already on that 47th loss. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, I got some numbers on the Packers. It's like something to do with the future for the Super Bowl. I just wanted to point something out to you if you want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you look at it, I remember you saying that this was the 100th week, or the 100 days left in the week.
100 days left in the year, Sunday. And week 3 equals 100.
Okay, so it sounds all symbolic, and I was looking at the Packers' schedule, so if Aaron Rodgers wins this game, he's going to have 112 wins, like the Super Bowl.
He's going to have his 103rd regular season win, right? And Broncos equals 103?
Yeah, and 103rd, and 103 equals President George H.W. Bush, too. So I looked at that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But if you actually look at the all-time with the Super Bowl one, the one that says the 112, they had 64 losses. And you know what 64 equals?
Tell me.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, there you go. Yep, 32-32.
Yeah, so I was looking at it like, so it's like 112, Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs, 103, and then you look at the next one, and then the next number is 57. So he has 57 regular season. There's another Super Bowl number. Then if you actually go on the other side, look at Joe Flacco, he's got 106 wins, like the prophecy number. And then, oh my God, I was trying to remember all this stuff in my head because I forgot my notebook at home. But yeah, Flacco has like his losses for all time and something else equals something to do with the Super Bowl too. So it's like almost like trying to tell you like Super Bowl, this day, 100th, all that stuff. Like it even tries to tell you the team and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like everything connects. If you actually look in the Gematria and look at his like all time losses and then look like scroll down, I forgot what the number is, and they'll like kind of like point to where the Super Bowl is. So it's like I said, Super Bowl. Actually gives you the team, Kansas City Chiefs, all that stuff. So I thought it was like kind of interesting how it connects, especially with that 100th season, 100 days left in the year.
Right. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, it's a great observation. And again, Chiefs and Packers is a very, very, very real possibility for the Super Bowl. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing though. Like when I saw that, I was like, look at that 65. I'm like, wow. I'm like 112. This is the 57. I'm like, I wonder what this 64 means. And I looked at my Kansas City Chiefs. I'm like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
freaking amazing.
I'm excited for this weekend's games. I think we might get a very, very awesome clue this Sunday. So.
Yeah, I gotta go back and find that notebook or whatever for what Kansas City is, because I think there's the other half of the clue with the Super Bowl is on Joe Flacco's side when he gets the loss. I think it's over there. So I gotta look at it again and tell you what it is. But the baseball one's I didn't get to hear your podcast yet, but the baseball one's been freaking kicking my ass. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure it out. I get all these clues right. It looks amazing, and it doesn't pan out. It's like pain in the ass.
Yeah, stick to the surface level riddles because they're the ones that come through more.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up waiting until like the playoffs because then everything starts coming out clear in the playoffs.
Right.
Actually,
that's another thing right now. It seems that playoff narratives are trumping some of the other narratives in this final stretch here. So.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. It connects, it doesn't connect as good. It's like, why would they want to do it this way? I look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm just I don't know. I get really confused on why these things are not coming out the way they usually do. Like, usually it's crystal clear. Like, last year it was like, I could see it. I didn't have to, like, hesitate. Now, like, I'm second-guessing myself now.
Yeah, I know how it goes, man. So just stay with the plan. Yeah, playoffs will get better.
But like I said, like I think the Packers are definitely going to win this week just because of that symbolic 100 and all that stuff, and with 112 to make the Super Bowl. I actually want to now I want to look at the Chiefs to see what Mahomes is going to have after he wins this game, and see if that connects to the Super Bowl too. Maybe equals. I remember what the other number is. I think if Flacco loses, I think his number. I think he had 69 losses, and the 69 losses equal the Green Bay Packers.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be talking about football a lot more this week, so we'll get to it, man.
All right.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Welcome. Take care. Okay. So I was saying for this Mariners and Pirates game, the head-to-head record would make a lot of sense if the Pirates got it done today. Not a lot else to go off of. Pirates can get the 66th win on the 66 date numerology as well. If they won today and tomorrow, they would get to 67 wins, which is the 19th prime. Seattle's 19. A couple other things to consider, so we'll look at tomorrow's game too. The Blue Jays and Orioles. Blue Jays got the date numerology on their side. They had it yesterday and they won with it. They can do it again today. And if they do win, the Orioles will be 3-6 at home against Toronto. Toronto 36 in both reduction ciphers. So I think that's where that's going. The Tigers and Indians. Indians got more date numerology in their favor than the Tigers do. Tigers got one riddle, the Indians got two. Turnbull, he has done horrible against he's done horrible against the Indians. He's 0-5. But if he got his first win today, he'd be 1-5. Indians is 47, the 15th prime. He'd be 1-2 at Cleveland. Detroit 37, the 12th prime. So, other thing to consider is 30 date numerology. Cleveland could become 3-0 against him in Cleveland. So, anyway, the date numerology is a little bit more supportive of the Indians. Spencer Turnbull, who's not encouraging on the surface, he does have some numbers that could spell upset. Savell, you can make an argument for him either way. Cleveland, not a good payout today. Tigers, I mean, the thing about putting together those small bet parlays that can pay big, you do want to be wise and strategic about it so you're winning on them more often than not. I'll let you think about the Tigers as an upset. Again, Indians are playing for the playoffs. Indians definitely got the better riddle with the date numerology today, so if the Indians win today and tomorrow, they'd also pick up that 47th win on the 47 date. So that would be somewhat symbolic. And then they got the Phillies at home starting Friday. You know, if the Indians win the next two games, they're going to be on 90 wins to host the Phillies as well. That's probably where this is going. Phillies is 90. And they'd have that 47. So let me put that note in here. If Indians win next two games, they'll be on 90 wins to host Phillies. Phillies, 90. All right. Okay, and then Giants at Red Sox, Bochy. Bruce Bochy, his next win is 2,000. What team does he get that against? Red Sox today, and I forget who he plays tomorrow. I got to look it up again. Who's he got next? Well, they play the Red Sox again tomorrow, and then, that's right, they're at the Braves. All right, so again, I was pointing out if Bochy won today, he'd be 2,000 and 2,022 as a manager, and Boston's 22. So again, it'd be like all twos up there. And if Boston lost today to the Giants would be 2-5 at Boston all time. Giants 25, SF 25. So I do not think that is out of the question. And Samardzija could stay on 55 career away losses. Again, Boston, Massachusetts, 55. Nothing real clear with the pitchers. Samardzija could become 2-2 versus the Red Sox as well. Boston, 22. So that was our number yesterday that won for us with the Giants. I guess one more thing I thought about is this. It's a 66-date numerology, the 11th triangular number, if Samardzija got his 11th win. So I think Giants got a shot at another upset today. The Bochy special. The Phillies and the Braves. Again, Phillies playing for their playoff lives. They're almost eliminated. Every game's pretty much do or die. If the Phillies win today, the Braves will get the 30th home loss on the 30-date. Atlanta's narrative with the date numerology is they could get the 46th win in the NL East on the lesser date numerology of 46. So I do like that 30 more. And we pointed out if the Braves lost the next two, they'd get to 61 losses. Philadelphia, 61. Phillies would get to 79 wins. 79 is the 22nd prime. Braves is 79. And you know what? To add on to that, Philadelphia is also 79. So could be some double symbolism in there. Phillies would stay on 37 away losses. Atlanta Braves, 37. And Eflin, there's nothing really great about his stats today that are encouraging. Teheran, you know, he could pick up it with a win. His numbers would make sense against the Phillies, but you know, Keuchel had a real good riddle yesterday and he lost. So think about that. And we were talking about that. You know, maybe the Phillies will trump that riddle because they're going places. So I personally don't want to go against the Phillies in this stretch. Caller?
Hey, Sec. I forgot to mention one last thing. So the score of the Rams and the Saints, the score was 27-9.
Right.
Hey, those two numbers were retired. You add 27 and 9, that equals 36.
Yep.
The age of Steve McNair's death.
Yep. Good point. Good point.
All right. It.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. The Padres at the Brewers. Brewers can pick up the 46th home win on the 46 date numerology. Tomorrow they play the Padres. They could get the 47th win on the 47 date. San Diego's 47. Phillies would love to see the Brewers lose these next two games. The narrative for the Brewers to drop the next two would be to get to 33 home losses because San Diego Padres is 137, the 33rd prime. That said, the Brewers can improve to 3-3 versus the Padres today for the year. They get 3-3 like 33. We did see that Hauser, who's on the mound today, he faces the Reds next. If he lost, he'd fall to 6-7, like 67, the 19th prime. It's possible he could get a no decision and maybe lose to the Reds in his next start as well. But the date numerology looks good for the Brewers. The head-to-head record looks good for the Brewers. And if they do lose, that would be a plus for the Phillies, but the numbers aren't really stacked against them today. The White Sox and the Twins. Again, the White Sox, they couldn't close out the game last night, which was disappointing. They do have a shot at their 66th win on the 66th date. If Minnesota lost, they'd be 13-6 versus the White Sox, like 13, the 6th prime. Nova, who's on the mound, he could get his 11th win on this 66th date. Again, the mathematical pairing. Or he could get his 13th loss, TC, what they wear on the Twins cap, 13 for Twin Cities. We saw that if Nova lost, he'd be 39-39 in the second half. You got 39 date numerology. White Sox equals 39. One thing that really did stand out for Nova, though, is if he won, he'd be 5-2 versus the Twins. And we know about Minnesota in 52. It's a riddle that comes through a lot. So that's Nova's big riddle for the upset. And then Odorizzi, he could get his 30th win in the second half on the 30-date numerology. Not a whole lot to go off of for him. So I'd say White Sox have a shot at an upset again. Twins are playing for the playoffs. And is there one more game in this series or not? hold on, let me check that real quick. This is the last game. If the Twins didn't win, they would stay on 93 wins. White Sox is 93. Minneapolis, Minnesota's 93. If they did win, they'd get their 44th home win, though, and Chicago's 44. If White Sox didn't win, or if White Sox didn't lose, they'd slide into tomorrow the 47-day not still on 47 losses. Let's see. Twins are on 93 wins. White Sox is 93. Minneapolis, Minnesota's 93 on the 93rd meridian. All right. White Sox next home win is 44. Chicago is 44. Whoops, not White Sox. Twins. White Sox next home away win is 31. Twins equals 31. Who do the White Sox play next? Detroit. At Detroit. Hard to say with that. Caller?
Hey, just wanted to add something about this Cardinals game, because the Cardinals got up 1-0, but the way it happened was interesting. So it was the number 8 hitter, Edman, and he wears number 19, and he got his 10th home run, and so 19, 8th prime, and what also stood out was how the pitch count and so forth got in, because it was the 35th pitch, which was the octal of 29. 29 is the 10th prime, and it was his 10th home run of the season. And then when you put in 29, 29 is also the duo of 33 in Nationals, and 33 stick out a whole bunch. And 29 is, like I said, the octal of 35, and then the duo of 25, and they're in St. Louis, like St. Louis 25 connection. So I feel like there is some connection with the octal and duo in some cases, and today with this home run, it definitely stuck out.
Sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to add that.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, the Reds at the Cubs next game. Or hold on, was I looking at... Hold on, I want to check one thing with the Twins. Twins got the Royals next. And... Well, if they started out on 59 losses, Kansas City Royals is 59. All right, hold on. Let me add that note in here too. Twins play Royals next. Kansas City Royals equals 59. Next loss is 59. Could begin series on 59 losses with loss today. Okay. All right, this Reds at Cubs game. Cubs blew the 9-9 riddle yesterday, so it has me thinking, like, are they going to stay on 8 wins in 2019 versus the Reds? 19's the 8th prime. It's the 19th game today, the final game. Reds is 19, the 8th prime. Again, will the Cubs stay on 8 wins versus the Reds? The Reds are on 46 away losses. That's the overlap number. Chicago and Reds both equal 46. Today has the 46 date numerology. The date numerology is favorable to the Cubs because the Cubs could stay on 30 losses versus the NL Central, and Cincinnati could stay on 30 wins versus the NL Central. They're both staying rather than picking up, though. The Cubs' next loss would be 70. Cincinnati Reds equals 70. If they lost, they'd stay on 51 wins at home. Cincinnati's 51, and they'd pick up the 26th home loss. Reds is 26. So actually, their home record would read like the Reds. Cubs would pick up 26th home loss. Reds equals 26. So yeah, if the Cubs lose today, their record spells Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati 51, Reds 26. Plus Cincinnati Reds is 70. So that's very interesting. So, yeah, that's pretty incriminating right there. It's just this Tyler Mahle. He's just such a bum. He could get his 23rd career loss. Again, it is this 66-date numerology, though, the 11th triangular number. His next career win is 11. He is 2-1 versus the Cubs. He has a winning record versus the Cubs. He's 1-0 at Wrigley even. Isn't it amazing? He's 10-22 for his career, but he has a winning record against the Cubs. He'd have to beat the Cubs today to have a chance at his 12th career win against Milwaukee. Milwaukee 37, the 12th prime. But through the head-to-head record is really, what goes against the Cubs here today. And Lester, you can make an argument for either way. So that's that game. The Rays at the Dodgers. Dodgers are 5-1 at home versus the Rays. If they lost, they'd be 2-5. Tampa Bay's 25. Tampa Bay Rays does have that 52 connection as well. If you want to throw in another one, California's 52. The Dodgers are 2-1 versus the Rays. If they lost, they'd be 2-2. Tampa Bay. That's for this year. 2-1 versus the Rays in 2019. If they lost, they'd be 2-2. Tampa Bay's 79, the 22nd prime. However, if the Rays lost, they'd be 1-3 versus the Dodgers. LA 13. This McKay on the mound for Tampa Bay, he could fall to 2-5 today. Tampa Bay 25. And if McKay did lose today, he would likely become 2-6 versus the Yankees in his next start. Yankees 26. I guess to play devil's advocate, Yankees does have that 35 connection as well, but 26 is the way bigger Yankees number. And Gonsolin, you could make sense of him with a win or a loss. I realized I forgot to note that Tampa Bay equals 137, the 33rd prime. So Gonsolin can go either way. He does face the San Diego Padres next, another 137 team, the 33rd prime. So Tampa Bay had a decent riddle through the head-to-head record last night. They didn't get it. They have a decent riddle through the head-to-head record again. Possible they do get it this time. Just I worry about McKay falling to 2-5 and then 2-6 against the Yankees. Gonsolin could go either way. So the line's about the same as it was yesterday. Okay. And Rangers and Astros. Again, Rangers can pick up the 46th away loss on the 46th date in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas 46. They'd also get they'd stay on 32 away wins. Houston 32. The Rangers would also get the Astros would get their 46th win at home all-time versus the Rangers. The Rangers would get their 46th loss all-time at the Astros on this 46th date. Just like how yesterday you had the double 45 thing. The Astros would improve to 13-6 versus the Rangers, 13 the 6th prime. Allard with a loss today would become 5-2 for his career, Texas Rangers 52. Cole could stay on 52 career losses and improve to 5-2 versus the Rangers, Texas Rangers 52. So things look really great for the Astros. It's just that line is obnoxious. So there are some decent games on the board, some decent payouts too. And, you don't have to bet a lot to win with this knowledge. If you mix up your parlay cards, if you do low bets that with big multipliers and your cards come through, theoretically you could structure 5 different bets for $2 a piece. And, if just one of those hits and you've structured it well enough, that $2 could become $50 or more dollars. So, and that is the way a lot of people bet around here. It's not a bad strategy, Pay for bags of groceries by betting a few bucks at a time. And that way, if you do have a bad day, and we don't have many bad days, but if you do have a bad day, it's not the end of the world. So it's like yesterday. Yesterday wasn't a great day, but we got the majority of our games, and we got plenty of upsets, so still a positive day. And I imagine today the way the reads are, it feels like a similar day to yesterday. I imagine today will be similar to yesterday. Caller?
Yeah, so I think Angels are definitely the best underdog today.
Well, they got quite a riddle. It's just the Yankees. The Yankees know how to bust up a riddle, but they got a good one. The Yankees, or I mean the Angels, to upset.
Yeah, they're definitely the best. I mean, they're the best. I mean, they're like.
I'd call them a long
Plus-
shot. I'd call them the best long shot because when I use the term under, I mean they are an underdog, but like there are some games where a team's an underdog and they probably have a higher percentage chance of winning than the Angels today. I'd put it that way.
Well, I mean, they're plus 295. They're worth a chance.
Right, they're a good risk bet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Plus, I like the Yankees to clinch the postseason or their division. Same thing. 33 days before the World Series,
That makes sense.
which would be tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Huh. And you know what? With you saying that's a really great observation because that would be their 100th win. When you write out 100, it equals 54 like baseball. And we're wondering about these riddles, how they might carry over from baseball to football like they do year after year. So, yeah, that's a good observation.
And one more thing I wanted to say. You see Eli Manning, he got benched.
Right, yeah. That was predictable.
I thought we said he was going to verse the Patriots week 6. Something with Eli Manning's record.
Oh, well, he could get inserted back in. But like I said, I said if he didn't get that win this weekend, that could be a signal that like his time's done. He's not picking up that 117, so.
Well, yeah, he finishes 116 and 116, so I thought he was going to finish 118 and 118.
With the Patriots?
And that would be after week 5, going into week 6, Jones would be named the starter.
Yeah.
So, well, it's time he's done, you know. I mean, Eli Manning's just a joke.
Indeed.
You know, he's like, how does he beat? I know Tom Brady's also a joke, but like, how does he beat this like shitty quarterback? Beat the greatest of all time twice in the Super Bowl? It's just like.
Well, they both suck is the reality.
Yeah, they're both really, really bad. I mean,
it's all
the only
scripting.
probably good quarterback is probably Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
There's some. I mean, these guys still have talent, but no, that's the thing.
No doubt.
If this was grade school and it was pick, you know, you go out and you line and somebody's the captain and you pick players. If you picked
Tom Brady and Eli Manning would be last. They're just like terrible.
Exactly. They're not athletes. Exactly. In a real football game,
it's just such a joke.
Yeah, that's why I hate listening to people talk about, oh man, Brady, he's so great. I guarantee you, Derek Carr in a real football game would smoke Tom Brady. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And for people who wonder, I'm not a Raiders fan or anything. It's just you can tell. Derek Carr is a world-class athlete compared to Tom Brady. Has anybody ever seen Tom Brady with the shirt off? I mean, it's embarrassing. He looks like the guy on the couch. So, yeah, he can throw a ball to a spot, but he has all day in the pocket. His receivers have a 15-yard cushion all day. I mean, coaches don't know how to coach against him. It's just a joke. So, anyway. We'll leave it there. Be selective. There's some good games on the board, you know. And, again, don't be greedy. Just be smart. Take the best games each day. Stay ahead of the curve. So, we'll leave it there. I'm going to post the notes up at the top of the screen on Patreon. And you can review them with your own eyeballs. So I think we made it clear what are the better reads. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time. And tomorrow we'll do 2 live streams. Baseball morning, football in the afternoon. And possibly the same thing Friday. Or maybe we'll save the football live stream for Saturday. So we'll see. All right, good luck, everybody. Be back. Well, actually, let me check out the chat real quick. Let's see what's up in the chat. Martin says Cam Newton would be the best QB. Well, yeah, Cam Newton would definitely be a lot better. I mean, that's just the point. Like, if the NFL was real, the Panthers would have won their game last week. Cam Newton would have snuck the ball on 4th and inches. They would have got the first down. They would have snuck again with Cam Newton. And they would have won the game. But that's not how the NFL is. So, anyway, there's a lot of quarterbacks that would be a lot better than Tom Brady. That's just a fact. All right. Let's see. Kevin Klingman says he won 55 by betting 5, so he had a day of 5s. Congrats to you, Kevin. Took the Indians, Astros, Phillies, and Giants. Nice. Glad the Giants came through. They were scaring me at the end. Tracy says Zach M's 2019 pick could be for Seahawks. Just listening and following all the rabbits. Again, it is 2019. Seattle's 19. Russell Wilson equals 54. Mariners equals 43. Seattle Seahawks equals 43. It's the Mariners' 43rd season. There could be some crossover thing between the Mariners and Seahawks. I think that's what you're saying, Tracy. Absolutely. Man, but based on those narratives out there in the NFC, it's just... I'd be surprised if the Seahawks came in ahead of, say, the Packers or the Saints. I just feel like in the NFC, those are my two most likely teams. But Seahawks, they'd probably make my top 5 list. It's possible. So again, this Sunday, the day leaving 100 days left in the year, when you write out week 3, it equals 100. It's the 100th NFL season. I think we're going to see some monster clues this weekend. Martin, your question about Thursday Night Football, still going to do a little bit more research on it. Thursday Night Football is my Achilles heel. I almost advise people to just go against me on Thursday Night Football. I guess it hasn't been so bad this year. We broke even week 1 because we had the under right, but I was leaning Bears, which was wrong. And then last week we took Tampa Bay to cover, which they did. So it's not so bad. But I remember last year Thursday Night Football kicked my ass. However, I know that every year before last year, Thursday Night Football was like the easiest pick in the world. So I don't know what changed up last year, but so far this year it has me scratching my head a little bit. See if we can right the ship. So Martin says, everyone look at the link. Let's see what he's got here. Is this a YouTube? What is this? 100th season record and fact book. Okay, this is a good thing to... looks like mine's still loading up. There must be a lot of information here. Okay, good link, Martin. I'll post this in today's notes. So, yeah, I'll post this on the Patreon so everyone can get this. But very interesting. So we got all the potential records, I imagine, here. All right, I'll go through this. This looks like a lot of homework material right here. All right, appreciate it, Martin. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We will we'll wrap it up. Look for this post at the top of the Patreon. I'll just put it there right now so everyone sees that it's there. Let's get this up here. Reading material for NFL 2019-2020 season. Records related. All right, so link that there. Give it to everybody. All right. We'll wrap it up. Got a whole bunch more work to do before we're back tomorrow. Got to keep pounding away at the NFL Decode. And good luck. See you guys tomorrow. Till next time.